Hi, I'm Gary the Water Guy, and I own the water filter eStore and the Water Store, Midland, Ontario. Today we're talking about how to replace an inline filter. Now these are often used in a low flow type situation. Reverse osmosis systems use them, ice makers use them, fridge filters often use them, and they can even be used in specialty applications where it's just one filter for a faucet, something like this. Now, there's lots of different shapes, lots of different sizes, and the fittings often are different. The size of the tubing that connects is often different. So make sure you're replacing it with the correct one for the application that you're doing. Now, the other thing you have to make sure is the flow direction. There's an inlet and an outlet. Now, generally speaking, it has the word flow marked right on it, although that's not always the case. Sometimes the word flow isn't marked on it. So in that type of situation, the inlet is the thicker end, and the outlet is the narrow end. Think of it like an arrow. In the wide end, out the pointy end. Okay, so there's a couple different types of connections for these fittings. One is a quick connect fitting where there's a collar and a little piece of tubing inside. So you just push in the collar, that releases the tubing. And then you go to the tubing on whatever your application is, if it's a faucet or reverse osmosis, and then you just slide the tubing into the new filter all the way till it bottoms out and then pull back slightly. So what you'll notice is that it's locked in place. To remove that tubing, all you do is slide in that collar, push in the tubing very slightly, and then pull the whole thing back out again. So in a situation like this, if we're going to replace this carbon inline filter for this reverse osmosis system, we would first have to disconnect the tubing from the fittings and then unscrew the fittings and reuse those fittings in the new carbon filter. So the threaded fittings or the threaded ends on an inline filter typically have these little plugs. So you just pull out the plug, and then to install the fitting, you'll need to use Teflon tape. So the correct way to install Teflon tape is hold the fitting in your left hand, and with your thumb, hold down the Teflon tape, and then wrap the Teflon tape, starting at the top, going away from you, and you're going to make 2 revolutions around the fitting, and then pull off the remainder of the Teflon tape, and then you just thread that into the threaded end of the inline filter, and then using a wrench you would just tighten it. Now you want to make sure you tighten it enough that it's firmly tightened. You don't want it to leak, but you don't want to over tighten it, because if you over tighten it, you can actually totally restrict the flow going through the fitting, or worst case scenarios, you can actually snap off the fitting. So again, just make it firmly tight enough that it doesn't leak, and that's all. So once you've got the new fittings on, you've connected it back into your reverse osmosis system or whatever your application is, turn the water back on and check for leaks. If there's no leaks, then you need to flush the filter for at least 10 minutes. And don't be surprised if the water that initially comes out of the new filter is black, especially if it's a carbon filter. Because what you're doing is you're flushing the fines out of that filter, and often the water will be black. If you like what you saw today, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's lots of other videos on there, and you'll be informed about all the new videos as they become available. Also, it'd be great if you could like and share this video with some of your friends on social media. If you'd like some more information, you can go to our websites, either at www.thewaterfiltereStore.com or www.thewaterstoremidland.com. And again, I'm Gary the Water Guy from the Water Store, Midland, Ontario. Thanks for watching.